Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and start. Again, my name is Suri Deitch, and I'm Dean of the School of Professional Advancement, and I'm glad to welcome you to this webinar about our undergraduate programs and our admissions process today. And just to start, if you could, we'd love to know where you're calling in from, your name, where you're calling in from, if you know what program you're interested in. If you could go ahead and put that in the chat at the bottom of the screen. I think most people know how to use Zoom these days, but there's a little box at the bottom of the screen where you can click on it and it brings it up, and you can let us know again who you are, where you're calling in from, if you know what program you're interested in, or any lot of flux. There's also a lot of opportunities for people to advance professionally, which is what we do. And so we're really glad that you're thinking about the School of Professional Advancement as an option, and look forward to getting to know you as part of the admissions process. So with that, I'm going to turn things over to my colleagues Sheila Gold and Hope Anderson to introduce you and take you through the rest of the slides. Again, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, Suri, and welcome everybody. We are thrilled that you're taking time out of your day to hear about our school. We think our programs are incredible, and we always have a great time sharing those with other people. I'm going to walk you through a little bit about our programs, our school, sort of who we are and what we offer, and then my colleague Hope will talk to you a little bit about the admissions process and tuition, and then we'll have a couple minutes for questions. Of course, you could always drop questions in the chat, and we will also leave you with our contact information so that if you don't have questions right now, but think of some later, you can always reach out to us. We love it when students reach out to us. So a little bit about our school and who we are. We are the School of Professional Advancement. We're one of the schools that make up larger Tulane University. The university itself was founded in 1834 as the Medical College of Louisiana. It was actually founded as a response to the yellow fever epidemic, which is a little bit interesting since we're finding ourselves in a pandemic these days. But what's interesting for you all to know in terms of history, that 50 years after the founding of the university, which is a relatively short period of time, the School of Professional Advancement was founded, and it was founded as a response to being able to offer a Tulane education to non-traditional and working students in Louisiana and in New Orleans. So we continue to do that today. That's part of the history of who we are. We offer undergraduate degrees and graduate degrees, as well as certificates to non-traditional learners, and that's traditionally adult learners who have jobs, or maybe students who didn't start their undergraduate program right out of high school at 18 years old, but maybe went to work or started a family and have decided to come back to school a little bit later. So that is a little bit about the school that we call SoPA. So why is SoPA a great school and a great fit for what you might be considering to go back and study? Well, we offer flexibility to our students. And so that also differentiates us from some of the other smaller schools at Tulane University. We offer online courses, and we've been doing that for a long time, way before the COVID-19 pandemic. And I'll talk a little bit more about that. Our programs and our faculty are not theoretical degrees. They are what we call applied degrees, which means that they prepare our students to be workforce ready. Our curriculum is developed in conjunction with our professors with folks that are actually in the fields in which you are studying. So you're getting the most current information so that when our students graduate, they can step right into the workforce and actually have attractive skills so that they can get a job. We also offer incredible student support at SoPA. I feel like this is a differentiator from other schools, even at Tulane. Our advisors are incredibly accessible to students. They're available every day. You could virtually meet with your professor 5 days. I mean, you're with your advisor 5 days a week if you wanted to. They make it so that students can just schedule themselves on their schedule through Calendly, and they're available to students as much as you really need. So that shows our commitment to our students, not only to get into the university, but we're committed to you graduating as well. Also, for our undergraduate programs, we are priced differently than the rest of the university. We are at a lower price point. So that is on purpose. That is part of our mission of the school, because we know that our students are juggling other responsibilities such as work and family commitments. And Hope will share with you later in the webinar our tuition and fees. And then, of course, all of this comes with the Tulane degree. And so we feel like a Tulane degree ends up opening up doors when it comes time to apply for jobs. So we'll talk a little bit about more that as well. All right, so let's talk a little bit about online learning. Many of our classes are traditional, on ground, in a classroom with a professor, but we also offer a lot of online options. That flexibility is important for a lot of our students. For instance, if you think about today, those of you who are in New Orleans, we are expecting some terrible weather, and many of our classes are very flexible and can flip to an online format in the evenings or in the afternoons if for some reason students can't travel to campus. During the pandemic, we were actually positioned incredibly well, much better than most universities in the country, because we've been in the online space for years. And that is different from other schools in this way. Many online classes, if you've ever taken them, they're not very interactive. It's generally flipping through like a slide deck, a PowerPoint slide deck. You don't have the opportunity to interact with your professors or other students. That is not true with SoPA classes. Our classes are meant to be interactive. We have small group work that we offer students. We have simulations that we offer students. There are opportunities to get to know your classmates and your professors. And all of our online coursework is specifically designed to be taught in the online space. That's different than a lot of other programs. A lot of other programs take a traditional curriculum that's meant to be taught in a classroom, and they just sort of retrofit it to the online space. Our courses are specifically designed for this type of instruction. And our students tend to have a very different experience where they're engaged, they create relationships, and they're challenged. So that's a big differentiator, we feel like, between our school and others. Just a little bit about our expertise in this field. We've been, like I said, in the online space since 2018, and we've taught over 30,000 hours of online instruction. So you learn a lot, you get better, and we do feel like our professors are experts in this field. We've developed 8 master's degrees, 19 grad certificates, over 300 courses to be taught online at the highest level. So we have what are called instructional designers, who are master's level educators, but their area of expertise is to develop curriculum to be taught online. So they aren't just professors who are like, how should I take this lecture and just make some PowerPoint slides? They actually have their master's degree in instructional design, and they have been trained to develop this curriculum so that our students get the most out of their classroom experience. We also do something a little different, which is we train our faculty how to teach online. So we don't just have professors that are used to teaching in a classroom that are like, wait a minute, I don't really know how to do this, I'm figuring it out. Our faculty are trained to teach in this space, and they know how to reach students, how to engage students, and how to create relationships and make this format feel very engaging. So that's just a little bit about online. All right, so the degrees that we specifically offer at our school. So this is the School of Professional Advancement, which is a smaller school within Tulane University. And these are the bachelor's degrees that we offer to our students. Digital design, digital media, exercise science, legal studies for those of you who are thinking about being a paralegal, health and wellness, homeland security, humanities, which is just a broad liberal arts degree, IT, public relations, and then social sciences, which is also a broad degree. So humanities is like English classes, philosophy classes, history classes. Social sciences are like psychology, political science, sociology, but very broad, almost like a make your own degree, but within either the humanities or social sciences. I'm not going to read you all of these certificates, but these are also certificates that we offer through our undergraduate programs. All right, next slide, please. So a little bit about our faculty. I mentioned that our faculty, I think, are a differentiator for us, mostly because our faculty are practitioners in the field. Our faculty they're either currently working or have worked within the field that they teach. So you're not being taught by a professor who has never actually applied the information that they're sharing with you. You're being taught by people who can give you real world experience while you're in the classroom. So for instance, Patricia Betancourt teaches in our general legal studies program, but she's a lawyer. She's a litigator and shares with her students her experiences out in the legal field and how what she's teaching you actually can be applied. Bo Boudreau is one of our professors in our liberal arts program, and he's actually a working poet. So when he teaches writing courses, he knows what he's talking about because he's a writer. Tyra Mitchell is in our health and wellness program. She's actually our assistant director of the program, but she's a physical therapist and she worked at Ochsner for years and years. And then another example is Ralph Russo, who's the director of our IT program, actually has an intelligence background and an IT background. He was a former NYPD officer, and he actually started their cyber intelligence program for the NYPD after 9/11. So this is the quality of faculty you're going to get. They're not, like I said, they're not full-time educators for their whole career. They've come back after a career in industry, and now they want to share that with students, that knowledge. All right, so our student support and success, I think, is something that makes our students very, it's one of the things that they remember after they graduate, is all the support that they were given as a student. Like I said, you have advisors that are there that can meet with you virtually every day. Not only do you have academic advisors, but you have a major advisor, which is a faculty member that can help you specifically with your curriculum. And then we also have a dedicated career advisor. We do not share this career advisor with the rest of the university. She is just focused on our school and our students, and she's available to help students with their resume, build their LinkedIn page, help them do mock interviews. If they have a job interview, you can sort of do a dry run with her. She can ask you questions. You can try and formulate your responses. And also, we have a lot of job postings that employers throughout this area will reach out to us and say, I have an opening for whatever the position might be, send it to us, and our career advisor will send it out to our students. So oftentimes our students will they'll get alerted to job openings before the rest of the community does. So that's the power of the Tulane connection. Okay. So one last thing that I think is interesting before I turn it over to my colleague Hope is that we offer what we call credit for prior learning. Because many of our students are returning to school after having some work experience, oftentimes they will have experience in areas in which they're studying. And if there's ever a time where you are you are supposed to be taking a course, but you already have that knowledge through your work experience, through years of experience. Let's say you're taking a Homeland Security course and you have been in criminal justice for years, or you've been in the military, and you already have that knowledge. You can actually get what's called credit for prior learning. There's a process, what we call a portfolio process, where you have to demonstrate that you have the knowledge of the course objectives. But if you can do that, you can get credit for the course and not have to take it. And why that is really interesting is because not only does that save you time towards getting your degree, but it also saves you money because you won't have to pay for those classes. So that's an important way that we work with non-traditional students who come into the classroom with, quite a bit of experience from life and work. So if there's any questions about that, we can answer that for you. And you can get up to 24 credits that way. So that's a savings of almost 8 classes. So that's pretty good. All right, next slide. I am going to turn over to my colleague, Hope.
Good afternoon. I also want to thank you for joining us today and taking time out of your busy schedule to hear information about the School of Professional Advancement. As Sheila briefly touched on, one of the things that differentiates SoPA from the other Tulane schools is that our cost point is low. Our tuition is affordable. We're lower than the other schools because our tuition rates right now this semester is $576 per credit hour. And the majority, if all of our courses, consist of only 3 credits. And we're able to do that because our fees are lower than the majority or most of the schools in universities in this area. So most of the universities there, when you consider or comparing their fees, in addition to the tuition, it usually doubles the tuition. So that is something you want to consider. Here at SoPA, our fees are low and then it's the tuition. So that is your price. I also wanted to say that to help with the cost of paying for your education, so Tulane University and the School of Professional Advancement offers financial assistance to help with that. And we offer, as you can see, federal grants, federal loans, yellow ribbon programs, and there's 20% discount for active duty military, K through 12 instructional staff, and any New Orleans area public employee, and PTK, Phi Theta Kappa, up to 24 credit hours for life experience. I consider our application process to be fairly straight to the point, but in the event you run into any issues, I'm here to assist in any way I can to answer any questions or address any concerns. So our process, you will complete your application for the undergraduate program. It's a $40 application fee. You upload a current government issued ID, and that could be a driver license, passport. And then you send or have your transcript submitted electronically or mail to our school, to SoPA. Some important dates you want to remember are our application deadlines. The upcoming summer, the deadline to apply is May 1st. And then for our summer semester, it's August 1st. Next spring, but each spring, it's January 1st. Again, thank you for joining us for the information. And if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out.
Thanks, Hope. I am going to point out, if we could go back to the previous slide, we have some early enrollment scholarships too. So Hope shared with you our application deadlines, and this is all on our website too. But if you apply and enroll, meaning register for classes, by these early enrollment dates, you'll get a $200 scholarship. So that's just an incentive to like register for classes, and we give you a little bit of help your first semester by giving you a $200 scholarship. So for those of you who are interested in starting summer term, April 25th is coming up. So get your application in. Hopefully we can get you registered for classes by April 25th, and you can get that $200 scholarship. Also, we do have a $40 application fee, but as a thank you to you for joining us today, we're actually taking attendance at this webinar. We will waive that fee. So go ahead and get your application in, and when it's time to pay the fee, it should automatically get waived. If anybody here has already applied and has paid the fee, you can email me and I can refund your fee. It would be my pleasure to do that as a thank you. So my contact information is right in front of you on your screen, sgold at tulane.edu. And if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat and we can answer them for you. But we don't want to put anybody on the spot. So sometimes people don't like to ask questions in a public format. So you can always go ahead and reach out. I know the phone number is on the screen. I generally am easier to get by email. So I tell people actually really not to call me because I'm very rarely sitting at my desk. So if there's any questions, we'll give a minute for somebody to put those in the chat. And if not, that is okay too. All right. Okay. Well, if there are no questions, then we want to thank you all for joining us today. We also have program-specific webinars. So if you're interested in hearing about a specific program, you can also join those. You should be getting invited to those as well. If you indicated what program you were interested in, we're capturing the information. So go ahead and attend one of those. And if we can help connect you to a program director or an advisor, we would be happy to do that as well. So if there are no other questions, we appreciate you all taking time out of your day. And we certainly hope that we will see your application soon and be welcoming you to Tulane as a student very soon. So thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon, everyone. And for those of you in New Orleans, stay safe today. Bye, everyone.